Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we will cover travel requirements to enter Australia and also discuss some important frequently asked questions regarding traveling during coronavirus. Without wasting much time, let's get started. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such videos. What does non-essential travel mean? Non-essential travel isn't outlined by the government as being necessary. To be able to travel overseas you must meet one of the following requirements, and provide evidence of your claims. Your travel is a direct response to the coronavirus pandemic, which includes providing aid. Your travel is essential to critical business industries. You need medical treatment that is not accessible or available in Australia. You need to travel on urgent, and unpreventable, personal business. You need to travel on compassionate or humanitarian grounds. Your need to travel is in Australia's national interest. What if I need to travel back to Australia from overseas? Australian passport holders, residents and immediate family members are allowed fly back to Australia. However, it's imperative to check with the local authorities and the airlines first. This is to ensure flights are still available, and to check the rules around using this mode of transport. Some states in Australia have set a daily cap on how many people can fly into the territory, so services are limited. All passengers entering Australia will need a negative pre-departure COVID-19 PCT test result, taken within 72 hours of departure, to enter Australia. Quarantine requirements are subject to the government guidelines of each state and territory. Australians that are overseas will also be subject to restrictions placed by the country they are currently in. It is also important to check whether you can legally enter a country as part of a layover. When can those overseas fly to Australia? Tourists are not currently allowed to enter Australia. Australian citizens, residents, and immediate family members are permitted to travel to Australia. However, as conditions are subject to change, and can change at short notice, we advise that they contact their nearest Australian consular service for the latest information and advice. Note that flights may be limited, and travellers entering Australia may be subjected to a 14-day quarantine upon arrival if they are not fully vaccinated against COVID-19. To find out who qualifies as an immediate family member, call the Home Affairs Global Service Centre on 131,881. Will I have to quarantine if I am travelling from overseas? As of the 1st of November 2021, fully vaccinated arrivals from overseas will not need to complete a quarantine if arriving into New South Wales, ACT, or Victoria. Each state and territory has formed its own quarantine requirements. The cost of quarantining in Australia depends on the state or territory you enter into. You may be responsible for paying all or part of the costs associated with your isolation. Prices typically range from $1,500 to $3,000 Australian dollars per adult and about $1,000 for each additional adult in the room. Additional children cost about $500 Australian dollars each. What can I do to stay safe while traveling? Fortunately, there are many things you can do to help stay healthy if you're going to travel domestically. Wash your hands regularly and thoroughly with water and soap for 20 seconds. Use hand sanitizer before and after coming into contact with high-touch areas, such as door handles. Also use it before eating and drinking. Stay 2 meters away from people who are not in your household. Wear a face mask on transport, in airports, stations, and in busy areas. Do not travel if you are exhibiting any symptoms. Useful COVID-19 travel resources. Smart Traveller publishes up-to-date travel information and restrictions on overseas destinations. Health Direct provides health information and contacts. This website also has a restriction checker for every state and territory in Australia, so you can check what activities you can and can't do. Department of Home Affairs provides support and information for Australian citizens needing to travel or return home. Common questions about travelling during coronavirus. Are Australia's borders open to tourists? No, Australia's borders are currently closed for tourism purposes to anyone travelling from outside of Australia. When will Australia's borders open for international travel? Australian residents and citizens who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 are be able to travel overseas as of the 1st of November 2021. There is no definitive date on when Australia's borders will open to international travel worldwide. There may be border closures in place until the nationwide vaccination program is fully rolled out. However, some states and territories remain closed to international travel. How far can I travel from home? Many states are allowing unrestricted access to residents within the state borders and are encouraging people to go for a staycation this year. Please be aware though, some states have enforced stricter lockdowns because of COVID hotspots, and you will need to check government state pages for the latest information. Is it recommended to fly? If you choose to fly to a domestic destination, restrictions allowing, we advise you follow the World Health Organization's safety guidelines. Can I apply for a quarantine exemption when arriving in Australia? Yes, you can apply for a quarantine exemption when arriving into Australia. You will need to do this prior to arriving, and this must be cleared with the state or territory government that you want to travel through. Those who are granted quarantine exemption may still be required to isolate at home or in an alternative accommodation. What is the difference between travel advice and a travel ban? Currently, the Australian government has issued a travel ban on international travel. This is a mandatory border restriction enacted by the federal government. The government also issues travel advice, which recommends whether or not Australians should travel to a certain destination. Travel advice is solely a government recommendation and will not be legally enforced. States and territories within Australia can also issue their own travel bans and travel advice. Where can I find the latest Australia travel advice and travel warnings? The best place to find the latest travel advice and travel warnings through the Australian government's official website, Smart Traveller. Governor AU. Here, you'll find the most up-to-date information about travelling to and from Australia as well as specific travel warnings related to countries all around the world. That's all for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. Please show your support by subscribing and liking the video. I will see you again in the next one.